Hey everybody, want to Wisdom here. Just introduced Blast Zone again. I feel like I've done all three of the starter packs. Can't find that. No big deal testing things out here. That said, what I'm going to do now is introduce Dark Blast Zone. This is essentially exactly the same thing as Blast Zone. It just looks a little different aesthetically. Reason for this, again, I'd like to personally kind of bundle them together. Basically have Dark Blast Zone and Blast Zone in the same video. Particularly, since there's like no bonus content, like heroic challenges or anything like that. I might come up with something later on. Think about it. But basically, for those people that don't have the Dark Edition, for those that are curious about, say, Legendary Night Shift, Nitro Magna Charge, Jade Fire Kraken, everything like that, it makes sense then to do that. In addition to that, when we do get, like, say, Jade Fire Kraken or Nitro Freeze Blade, they may not line up, particularly Fire Kraken. When we get Jade Fire Kraken, probably not going to line up with when we've already recorded that, so then we would have the need for separate videos anyway. Long story short, personally, I'd like to pile them together, but like I said, I'd rather err on the side of caution. Kind of take care of each character individually, give them the attention they deserve. That said, it was kind of a bummer to me that thus far everything seemingly special kind of has like the same base stats, but we'll get to that here in a second. Gonna go ahead and back out. Here is Dark Blast Zone. Kind of doesn't look that cool on the character name screen there, with the health and level and coins and everything. But in the game, looks pretty good. You can kind of see him there. It's really kind of like an awkward angle here. I feel like we're so distant from the character, you're not really getting a good look at him. That said, we're going to go ahead. Basically, all I can showcase to you right now is the primary attack on the top end and the primary attack on the bottom end. So, of course, upper end, we got the bomb toss. You're going to see 28s. If we keep going, we'll eventually see a 42. Very impressive. He can just fire those off at will, and that's what makes him a very, very formidable character, in my opinion. Lower end, what we have is a Rocket Dash. Does 100 damage, sometimes 35, usually 100. You can release it instantly like that, or you can actually charge it up and then just blast through all kinds of stuff. I think he's going to turn out to be a very, very useful character, I guess is the best way to describe it. What we'll do, I guess, since that's really kind of all we can showcase, again, that's what he looks like jumping. Again, that's about all I can do for you at this point in time anyway. Let's come in, I guess, and we will take a look at Skylander. We're going to go into stats. Max health, 290. It's important to note that's exactly the same as our standard Blast Zone, 290. Granted he's level 3, that's why it's kind of skewed there, plus he has a hat. But essentially, box stock Blast Zone came into the game at 290. Speed, same thing for both characters, 43. Armor, same thing at 24. Critical hit, same at 6. Elemental power, 25 base. Again, add another character, fire element, you get plus 7. So there you go. We'll come in now. We'll actually take a look at his upgrades. We're going to come in, being a Swap Force character, you've got top and bottom. We'll take a look at the top offerings. What he has to begin with is the Bomb Throw. That's his base attack, primary, top end, whatever you need to call it. It's very useful, does nice damage. He's basically then got 3 purchased upgrades before you get into picking a path for the top end and the Soul Gem. Begins with Flame Breath. You're going to hold X while turning to create a wall of fire that damages nearby enemies. Then we kind of address, his primary attack, Power Bombs. Press Y to throw bombs that do increased damage. And then lastly, we have got Sticky Bomb. Hold Y to charge a bomb. Release to throw a timed Sticky Bomb. Now we get to a point you can either take the top path, which is going to be Ignition, or you can go with the bottom one here, which is Reaction Satisfaction. If you choose the Ignition path, you've got flaming bombs. Bombs catch fire when they pass through the firewall created by flame breath, dealing increased damage in an area. Follow up to that is fired up. Flaming bombs do even more damage in a larger area. Again, you've heard me say this a million times. I'd like to have numbers, it would really help, particularly like on the bottom end with the legs. Those two paths seem so similar. You got like the aura versus the fireball. If you knew that the fireball did plus 40 damage and the aura did plus 20, it would help you out some. As is, you kind of have to investigate it, which is fun, bit time consuming though. Coming in, if you want to go with your reaction satisfaction path, you've got the Ring of Fire. This actually looks really cool. Creating a full circle with flame breath causes a massive explosion. Anytime you have massive preceding explosion, you are doing something right in the world. Follow up on reaction satisfaction, we've got Ring Blast. Ring of Fire does increased damage in a larger area. Soul Gem for the top end, which you can find in Phantasm Forest. Bomb Party. Anytime you have bomb in front of party, you are also doing something right. New armor enhancements allow 2 bombs to be thrown at once. Unclear there if that's going to be like a plus 40 armor type deal. I mean, we saw that elsewhere, so kind of hard to know. I guess we'll just have to pick it up and go from there. That said, let's take a look at the bottom end now. He's got Rocket Dash that we showcased here on the Wii U. That's his A button. 35 to 100 damage, moves really fast. 3 base upgrades or purchased upgrades here before we get to the specific pass. We've got Ready for Blast Off. Hold A to charge a Rocket Dash and deal damage to nearby enemies. Then we've got Armor Plating. Armor is increased, hot off the steel presses. Again, that's probably where we're going to see the plus 40, hopefully. However, I think his armor stat was nearly maxed out, so they may have changed things on us. We'll have to see. Fuel for the Fire, final purchased upgrade for the bottom end. We've got Holding A to dash. Dashing now lasts as long as A is held. Again, that's what I was saying. Will make him a quintessential candidate for speed runs, any speed objectives. It's going to be tough to beat that. You just imagine that speed that he has when he's launching forward. Then we do have his 2 paths you can pick for the bottom end. Top one here is going to be Fuel Injected Path. It starts with Heat Wave. A rocket-fueled fireball is shot out at the end of the dash, and then of course the second addition to that is Tempered Fire. A more powerful heat wave is shot out at the end of dashing. So essentially you've got that fireball or heat wave that you can kind of see coming, probably going to proceed straight forward from him, versus the Temperatures Rising path, which basically has the aura. It begins with Flamed. A fiery aura appears after dashing, which damages any nearby enemy. And then, of course, follow up to that, Too Hot to Handle. Props for them actually spelling 2 correctly. That's a common error. An even more powerful fire aura appears at the end of dashing. Again, this is where if we knew that the aura did, say, 20 damage and the heat wave or fireball did 40, people might be inclined to go that route and then just kind of be left wondering, hey, I wonder if that aura would actually take care of that, Chompy or Greeble beside or behind me. The good news with Blast Zone, he has Dark Blast Zone, which is right here, subject to this video, so I'll actually get to take both. We'll kind of be able to see that. That way, if you just went with the Dark Edition starter pack or, missed out on the Dark Edition and just have the base console starter pack, you'll be able to come in and say, hey, definitely want to go that route for this reason. So. Then, Soul Gem for the bottom half, Hot Feet. A fire trail is left behind while dashing that damages enemies. Again, think of that along the lines of like Flame Slinger, if anyone remembers that. Soul Gem, of course, Phantasm Forest. Whoops. Well, back out of here, we're going to go to his quests. Same thing, defeat 1,000 enemies. Probably won't take too long with Blast on here. Fruit Frontiersman, eat 15 fruits. Again, that's pretty much a fruit walk, I guess we should call that. Flawless Challenger, complete a non-story mode level with full health. Might need some explanation there. I'm assuming they mean like the bonus missions or something. True Gladiator's probably like one that's like the first one, probably really basic or something, kind of like a Wrecking Balls challenge, if you will. True Gladiator win 10 PvP matches. Again, works well. Again, I personally would have liked to have seen a true single player versus CPU, but that's another story, another day. Totally maxed out. Really like this one just because it encourages you to actually explore the full potential of the character. That way, if you hated Blast Zone or you hated Firecracking, you then have incentive to actually explore, all of their upgrade paths, and then maybe realize, even if it's like the last soul gem or something, it becomes a deal where you're like, wow, this character's pretty cool. Then of course you play him and you hit level 20 and all is right in the world. Fire specific, we begin with Elementalist, costs 7,500 elemental bonus damage. That's kind of like your quintessential quest, if you will. Mega Melter, defeat a total of 25 ice golems. I do like these. The only issue is there's so many new and Series 3 returning characters. You're actually going to have to probably like play the same levels multiple times to take care of it. Again, I haven't progressed through the game, so I'm not sure, but it's kind of what we saw in Giants. Coming down, Bombardier, this is, if you use Blast Zone, even box stock, before he dies, if he does die on you, I feel like you're probably going to accomplish this. If you don't do it the first time, probably like the second time you play with him. Really nothing to worry about there. Now, his personal quest. If you can't stand the heat, defeat a total of 10 enemies with your flame wall and a single use of your flame breath. Again, only issue there, you're going to need to have the enemies nearby to actually do that. Best thing's probably like Chompy Pod situation. Might be a situation where we find out, there's like tons of Greebles spawning or something. So, run with that as you will. That is basically it, though. Again, without the heroic challenges, these are kind of I wouldn't say boring, informational perhaps. That kind of encompasses that. If you've ever sat through lectures in school or college, you kind of follow suit there. It's great information. It's just kind of like short on action because of the way the game, I guess, is structured or laid out. What I may do, currently I don't have any available. Probably, whatever, I don't know if it's chapter 2 or 3 when I'll have access to like little bonus missions or something. I'll try to find something I can do to like kind of highlight the character box stock for you in terms of what they can do, what you can expect from them in gameplay situations. May mess with that here in a second. I've got to get my Wii Fit U going. It's kind of like a glitch in that game too. I won't talk about it now. Forgot to read a story on Slogan at the start. My apologies there. If you just watched the Blast Zone, which is technically Introduction 1, you just heard it. So, nonetheless, just to stay the course, we'll go ahead and do that. Slogan for Blast Zone, Blast and Furious. As a young Furnace Knight, Blast Zone was part of the Skylanders bomb squad, specializing in the safe disarming and removal of troll bombs. But it was not long before trolls got tired of Blast Zone constantly thwarting their evil plans, so they decided to go after the Furnace Knight himself. Late one night, an army of the trolls snuck into Blast Zone's village and threw 100 bombs down his chimney. Acting quickly, Blast Zone swallowed each one and belched a jet of fire back at the invaders, sending the trolls fleeing with flaming boots. The tales of the attack eventually reached the ears of none other than the Wizard of Portal Masters himself, Eon. He recruited the Furnace Knight, as known as, in this case, Dark Blast Zone, to become a Skylander. The rest is history, so there you go. Next time I come in, I'll try to remember to do those at the start, but it's pretty sad I have that story kind of memorized, but that tends to be what happens. That said, like I mentioned, I haven't heard like a ton of hype coming from people, which is ironic because Free Ranger I realize he's 3DS starter pack, or just people picked him up, 2-pack, single pack type thing, but hadn't been a lot of Washbuckler. I mean, there's quite a few, but I mean, in comparison to like, Firecrack and Free Ranger, Hootlu, those tend to be the three that I've heard like the most chatter on. I think Blast Zone, it's one of them, might be like a boomerish type thing. If you actually take the time to upgrade this guy, I don't see how you could possibly be disappointed. As mentioned, the only thing I could think of is maybe if like he's already so pristine, like the upgrades just barely impact him, which I can't imagine that being the case, but it might be. We've seen that happen before. Nonetheless, I'm excited to kind of see how he plays out. I'm thinking I won't be disappointed. That said, again, a little bit redundant doing it for each character, especially when they're out at the same time. But the intent is, the people that just want to see Dark Blast Zone, this has you covered. Shocking thing to me, stats kind of coming in the same. We'll have to see if that changes somehow. I don't know how it would. In the past, it was always like an incentive to have the special characters. But we'll see, what goes down there. And like I said, I've got a lot going. Right now, I'm just kind of trying to, finally, hopefully, progress through all the issues with the recording, with the new equipment and everything. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to sign out here, see if I can edit these two videos, see how they turned out. If they went well, very well, may just go ahead and jump into Chapter 2 tonight, knock that out. It's going to be a cold weekend. Hopefully I can get a lot done on the playthrough. And if I still have recording issues, who knows what's going to happen. I might go back to my old capture device and just pray we don't have cutscenes or something. But like I said, once I actually figure that out, you won't have to listen to me complain and question things anymore, so that will be nice for everyone. But, as I said, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the blog, oneofwisdom.com. There is a ton of Skylanders content there. As alluded to, I've got some really cool stuff coming that direction as well, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully should have it coming within a week or two. Just kind of putting the finishing touches on some of it, so it's not like I've just been sitting idle, playing Animal Crossing, which I have been doing. But I have been working on this stuff. Just like I said, it's important enough to me. I don't want to have the frames drop. I want to have it recorded the best I can. So we'll see how this one goes. I'll take it from there. Again, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. That way you'll be kept up to date with all the latest in terms of video uploads. Again, thank you, and I will catch you back here for whoever I decide to introduce next. I'll just leave it at that. But again, thanks for watching. We'll catch you later.